I'm Aaron Davidson. Welcome to Long Range Pursuit. On this week's show, we've got some interesting tips for you. Our Long Range Ballistics segment is about spin drift and how important that is to compensate for at long range. We've also got a quick tip on do-it-yourself scope mounting, so don't miss that. On our hunt segment this week, we're over in Idaho, hunting on national forest for big mule deer bucks, or at least they're rumored to be big. We're with Heaven's Gate Outfitters, and our guide Wes has never hunted this area before, so it's kind of like an exploratory trip. We'll see if those rumors are true. Now Mike's got some good big buck luck. We'll see if it holds out, but he's going to have to overcome tough weather conditions. We've got blizzard, snow, fog. It's going to make it tough to spot deer at long range.
Talk about getting western. We're up here in northern Idaho hunting mule deer with a couple of buddies of ours.
Doing a little lumberjacking first?
Yeah, we got to do a little lumberjacking. Big storm come through a few days ago, knocked a bunch of trees down. Andy Savage is running the sod. We got our buddy Wes right behind us guiding. And
Throwing wood, you mean?
throwing wood today. Gonna get up around this corner and hopefully we'll see some big mule deer. It looks like really good country. So day one of a 5-day hunt. Tires. Looks like that big storm everybody's been talking about is coming in. It's starting to snow a little. We're getting deeper and deeper as we go up the mountain. Put the chains on. One of them popped off. Looks like we're gonna have to back out of this spot. It's a good looking spot, but yeah, you got to deal with the weather too. I don't want to get stranded up here when it's. I mean, you can see over there over in Oregon how that storm's just working its way this way, but we'll back out of here and go try somewhere just a little lower.
Okay, we're here in Unit 22, late season mule deer hunt. Picking apart the hillside, trying to find something to hunt. Pretty much just drive around and glass from different vantage points and see what we got to go after. Get it done.
A couple nice 22, 23-inch mule deer over there, 2 bucks. You know, one was just about a year older than the other. You could tell he had just a little heavier horn.
A little more mass on him.
But nice eye guards, but just, you know, a little short in the
Peter's
back.
out coming up, isn't he?
A little short in the back. And first day, I mean, might as well wait.
But you know what they say, if you shoot him on the last day, you're supposed to shoot him on the first day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that have to happen just right to execute a long-range shot properly. Now, when we're starting out, we're beginning shooters, all those steps that we have to follow are basically listed out, and we have to consciously go through and get our rifle steady, adjust our cant, you know, breathe, squeeze the trigger, etc. As we practice, those conscious actions that we take, that list that we follow, becomes more and more subconscious. It'll shorten up that routine and make a lot of those things happen automatically. Now, dry firing is a technique that we use to shorten up that list, to make more things happen subconsciously, so that when we're out in the field and we're hunting, we have just a few things that we need to worry about. I myself, I can handle about 3 things when I've got an animal in the scope. So the more that I practice and the more those small adjustments and routines happen automatically, the more likely I am going to be able to compensate for that shot and execute that shot without making a mistake. Now there's 3 things that we're going to do to practice using dry firing to teach us to be better shots. The first thing we're going to do is set up on our shooting gear. Now right now I'm set up on some bench equipment, and I'm going to practice getting used to my bench equipment and using my equipment, adjusting the bag for height, and adjusting the front of the bag for left and right, learning how to make my small elevation adjustments so that I can be real consistent off of shooting with these bags. And when I get in behind the gun and I automatically get my shoulder pressure and my grip, and everything happens without consciously having to think about it. The same thing applies for field shooting gear. If you're on a bipod or on a set of shooting sticks, I recommend practicing a bunch off of shooting sticks, because usually those techniques that you learn on how to get set up quickly in the field and how to get steady can be improved a lot from the first time you use them. So the first technique is learning to shoot off a gear. And we can get in with our gun and without loading a live round, get in behind the gun and get steady, and then practice and execute a shot. And we'll see how, we'll get used to using field equipment. Now the second technique involves just learning the trigger itself. And in that situation, I'm just going to get in behind my gun, relaxed, comfortable, in shooting position. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to focus only on pulling the trigger. And I'm going to take a long time to just execute that trigger squeeze, maybe 20 seconds there. And I'm going to do that repeatedly over and over, and I'm going to learn how that trigger feels, and it's going to be ingrained into muscle memory, so that when I'm out in the field and I've got one in there and it's time to squeeze the trigger, I know subconsciously where that trigger is at in the pull and where it's going to break at. So that's another technique. And the final technique is dry firing can force us to follow through. It's a startling eye-opener when you're out in the field and you're excited and you're lined up on an animal, and rather than loading a live round in, I just cock the bolt so there's no round in the chamber, and I line up on that animal. I've got lots of time. I'm at 600 or 700 yards. He's not aware I'm there. I get all steady, but I'm still excited, and I break that shot. And when I break that shot, I see those crosshairs jump 2 or 3 feet off of my point of aim. Well, I know I need to settle down. I know I need to adjust my rest. I do it again and again until when I break the crosshairs, they're right steady on the target. And then I'm going to have confidence that that next shot's going to be where it's supposed to. So what I'm going to do is practice follow through. Now, one of the things that you need to do when you follow through is keep your head on the stock and mentally visualize that bullet impacting your target and try to see it happen through the scope. So practicing a follow through routine would be lined up on a bullseye, on a target, or any type of object that you're aiming at, and without a live round in the chamber, execute a shot, and then follow through. Now, a couple things you want to try to overcome is blinking, closing your eyes. You want to keep your head down on the stock, and then when you fire, you want to keep your trigger finger from bouncing off the trigger. Just squeeze it, break the shot, rest it on the over travel stop, and then relax. So keep yourself from blinking, keep your head down on the stock, visualize and watch the bullet impact, and then don't bounce your finger off the trigger. So you practice those 3 routines with dry firing, and it's going to make you a better shot in the field when it comes down to getting steady and executing the perfect long-range shot. I'm Aaron Davidson. Join us for more tips here at longrangepursuit.com.
Well, day 2 hunting mule deer in Idaho out on the Snake River. We spotted a pretty nice buck last night. We just saw his frame and that he had quite a bit of mass up on this hillside. Then he went over the hill. We couldn't really get a good look at him, so we're back this morning. Set up across from him, see if we can't spot him. He had a few does, but haven't been able to pick him up yet. The weather's kind of moving in. We're supposed to get some real bad snow the next 3 days, so trying to hustle and get one killed this morning. But it's a good morning to kill a deer. It's nice and cool and clear. If we find him, we'll get him.
Well, we've been using our truck to motor around some of these logging access roads, and the country's so steep and there's so many folds, it's hard to get really good vantage points. But we found a few spots where we can glass these big basins like this, and it's working pretty good. We're seeing lots of bucks. We're just looking for, some of the big boys that are here. We've got some weather moving in, so we think that's going to stir the deer up. We're going to kind of keep holding off and keep passing up these medium-sized bucks. But it is tough country.
Yeah, I see him. He's still right there.
Is he?
I see his nose anyway.
Then we just circled back around to get a look on the back side of this timber, see if we can catch him up in here. Sure enough, we spotted him chasing a doe down. He's kind of giving us some glimpses. Looks like he's 26, 25. Good forks, good stuff on top. He's definitely still in the contender region, huh? Yeah, we can drive up there and get another look at him.
Oh, look at all them does moving through that hole.
Yeah.
I think we could climb up right up on that knob there and shoot off that platform if you wanted to. There he is. Scope mounting is a very important part of setting up a long-range shooting system. It's actually pretty straightforward, but a lot of guys get intimidated because they don't know the required steps to execute the proper scope mount. And it really boils down to having the right tools on hand so you can do the tasks that are required. Primarily, we're talking about torquing the screws to proper specs so they don't come loose. And if you've got a torque wrench, this one's real simple to use. You can make any setting adjustment that you need. If you've got a torque wrench, you can tighten that screw into the proper preload. If you don't do this every day, all day, you don't know whether it's too loose or too tight. Torque wrench will get you there. After you've got the rings and base mounted, the surface contact on that ring versus the scope is going to be about 5 to 10%. We're going to lap with a lapping bar and some lapping compound, like a 220 grit lapping compound, until we achieve 75% or more contact on that bottom half of the ring and the scope tube. That's going to prevent the scope from getting pinched or torqued when we tighten up that top set of rings. The last tool that we need and the last step that we need to do is to level the reticle of the scope with the center line of the bore. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. There's several different types of tools, but basically what we're going to try to do is level the raceways of the bore or level the action. If there's a flat spot on the action, we'll level that. And then when we mount our rings and mount our scope, we're going to level off the top of the scope. That's going to work for a high-end scope where all the surfaces are true and parallel. Another method involves hanging a string on a plumb bob on a wall or putting a piece of tape up vertically, and you can line your reticle up against that tape, with your action leveled up. So those are two simple ways we can do that. So the first process that we're going to do is drop our rings on here. Now these ring sets that we do on our LR1000 actions have a pin that mates up with a special hole in the action. It's kind of a tight fit. Now you won't have to do this if you mount a scope for yourself, but we'll go ahead and tap that ring in. Do the same for the back. Installation is pretty straightforward. Just lube the threads and torque to proper specification supplied by your ring and base manufacturer. Then with the lapping bar and compound, lap the rings until you achieve just over 75% contact. Clean up the lapping agent and place the scope and the top half of the rings. Remember to use some locking agent and just snug up the rings so that you can still position the scope for level and eye relief. So the next step is to torque those screws down. And it's a slightly lower setting than what we used to set our bases. And when you do these torque wrenches, you want it to get pretty snug, and then just do a real even, gradual pull up to our setting. Pretty much, if you've got a good set of tools, you can accomplish all the tasks that are required to do a good job mounting your scope. This set from Wheeler has the torque wrench, the lapping bar, and the leveling tools, even has your locking agent. It's a pretty handy kit. You can buy it all in one shot. I went through the proper steps here, and you can too. I'm Aaron Davidson. For more do-it-yourself tips, go to gunwerks.com.
Spin drift occurs because of the nature of spin-stabilized flight. A properly stabilized projectile will trace along the projectile path, resisting the overturning moment applied to the nose of the bullet. As the spin-stabilized bullet resists the overturning moment, it reacts by pointing its nose slightly to the right for a right twist barrel. This attitude in flight is called the Yaw of Repose and will steer the bullet to the right. The point of impact to the right increases exponentially with range and is approximately 10 inches at 1,000 yards for a 7mm Remington Magnum.
How far is he, bro? How far is he?
Getting right at 500, man. Right at 500. It's a little incline. You don't need to make any corrections. There is his broadside right there for you, bud.
Yeah.
Good shot.
Woo!
Good shoot,
Man, mule deer. There's nothing that gets my heart pumping more than buck mule deer, man.
That was a good shot, man. You put him down.
That was a good buck. He's right what we thought, right outside his ears. He's just what we saw last night at the dark, right when it was getting dark. He was worth coming back up and looking for.
There's not a lot of things that get my heart pumping. That's one of them.
Heck yeah.
I mean, that was a, what, 500-yard shot?
500 yards.
I mean, you look at the angle, we couldn't have got any closer and still been able to look up in there. I mean, we kind of had to take that shot, but 500 yards, that's not that far, but whew, gets me going.
He started dropping down past that tree. I thought we were going to miss our shot opportunity.
Sweet. Let's go get him, man.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, you know the nice thing about this deal is? Sliding straight down the hill, man.
Yep.
This will be the first animal we've been on we haven't had to pack out this year, huh? There we go, bro.
Yeah.
That was a steep climb up here. That just means you need to pack out. Oh, okay, I'm worried. Good forks there. Look at how it just jabbed into the ground. Oh, yeah.
Nice buck.
Oh, yeah. You got forks like that 190 bucks years back home.
Step the mask.
Oh, yeah.
There he goes.
Damn sucker.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Look at that deer. Look at my guards. Give me fiver.
Thanks, Wes.
Yeah.
This foot's a little high there, but look at this G3 on this side, man. Look at that.
Good
Look,
buck.
he's tall.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, this is the buck we saw last night.
That's him.
Dude, that looks awesome.
Yeah,
That's a
man,
big buck.
Sweet buck. You know, I couldn't be happier when that buck walked out on that hill at 500 yards, and you know, that's just a shot I've made over and over at the range. And you know, even though he's a great buck, I mean, I really pride myself on just making a good shot, and I think that's really what I'm in it for. It's just making the nice high shoulder shot, just quick kill every time. And a beautiful deer though. You know, we whacked him, we shot him, rolled down the hill, and horns hung up on some brush. Otherwise, he probably would have made it most of the way down to the truck. But posed up here for some nice pictures, and I can't be happier. I mean, hunting with Wes and Evans Gate Outfitters is just something I like to do every year, and Wes put us on a good deer today, and man, it's been great. So couldn't ask for anything better.
What a great buck. Mike pulled it off again. His luck held out. He took a 185 buck out of a 160 type area. It's going to put a lot of pressure on me. I've still got a tag on next week's episode. I'm going to hunt hard and see if I can match Mike's success. I'm Aaron Davidson. Join us next week at Long Range Pursuit.